he's basically quoting Psalm 22, Eli Eli lama sabachthani. And at that time, if you were to quote, like, because everybody kind of knew, everybody in the domain knew the Psalms and all that, if you would quote a verse from a Psalm, it's like you're saying the whole Psalm. And Psalm 22 basically speaks about this coming of the Messiah and his falling to be tortured, to be this and that, but in that comes the redemption of all. So he's basically announcing that this is what's happening. What David wrote 1,000 years before, because David had visions of the Messiah coming, what David wrote 1,000 years before, that from the fruits, from his seed, somewhere in the future will come this Redeemer. And the message, which was then reserved to a very small few thousand Jews there, will go and spread to the whole world by this man. He says, this is me. I'm going to spread this message of God to all nations. And I will be tortured and persecuted and crucified as they pierce me and so forth. As David predicted and saw in a vision 1,000 years ago, that psalm is me. And he gives that quote. So it's like it's an esoteric language to describe that. And some say that for a moment he lost, he was like in this bhava samadhi. He was all the time in samadhi. And then for a moment he could suffer like a human being, and he received this another interpretation, yeah, to give you another angle. He could suffer like a human being, what it means to be a human being. And then in the Gospel of Nicodemus, or the Gospel of Pontius Pilatus, it has two names. It is described how from there he goes to hell and he redeems hell and he meets David and all that, and he opens the gates of paradise and so forth. So it's like the beginning. Through that suffering, he connects, because he comes from God all the way to the lowest part, the lowest suffering, because he needs to cover the whole range, like with musical notes, from the highest to the very lowest. So he goes to the lowest of human suffering, so that he can bring God all the way to the depth of the human subconscious, to the depth of the suffering, and everything has this connection then to God. It gets a plug-in.
I just want to read this psalm. It's a bit long, but it's shocking how precise it is. So this is 1,000 years before Christ. I actually heard a lot of monks and nuns talk about praying with this psalm. It's called the doe of the morning, and like doe as in the female, no, doe, the female deer.
The deer.
Thank you. It goes like this: my God, why have you forsaken me? This is what he says, right? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer, by night, but I find no rest. Yet you are enthroned as the Holy One. You are the one Israel praises. In you, our ancestors put their trust. They trusted and you delivered them. To you, they cried out and were saved. In you, they trusted and were not put to shame. But I am a worm and not a man, scorned by everyone, despised by the people. All who see me mock me. They hurl insults, shaking their heads. And then in quotes, he trusts in the Lord, they say. Let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delights in him. This is exactly what they said.
That he can save others, but not save himself.
Yeah. Yet you brought me out of the womb. You made me trust in you, even at my mother's breast. From birth I was cast on you. From my mother's womb you have been my God. Do not be far from me, for trouble is near, and there is no one to help. Many bulls surround me. Strong bulls of Bashan encircle me. Roaring lions that tear their prey open their mouths wide against me. I am poured out like water.
Yeah. When he had the wound here, and there was water and blood coming out.
And all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax. It has melted within me. My mouth is dried up like a potsherd. Is this when they give him the vinegar?
He says he's thirsty,
And my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You lay me in the dust of death. Dogs surround me. A pack of villains encircles me. They pierce my hands and my feet.
Yeah, this is very precise.
All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes amongst them. That also happened.
Yeah, because there was one thing that they didn't want to cut in pieces, the soldiers, so they drew lots.
Yeah, this is
who will
the
take it.
next line. They divide my clothes amongst them and cast lots for my garment. So it's like
Very
precise
good.
description. But you, Lord, do not be far from me. You are my strength. Come quickly to help me. Deliver me from the sword, my precious life from the power of the dogs. Rescue me from the mouth of the lion. Save me from the horns of the wild oxen. I will declare your name to my people in the assembly. I will praise you. You who fear the Lord, praise him. All you descendants of Jacob, honor him, revere him, all you descendants of Israel. For he has not despised or scorned the suffering of the afflicted one. He has not hidden his face from him, but has listened to his cry for help. From you comes the theme of my praise in the great assembly. Before those who fear you, I will fulfill my vows. The poor will eat and be satisfied. Those who seek the Lord will praise him. May your hearts live forever. All the ends of the earth will remember and turn to the Lord, and all the families of the nations will bow down before him. This was also like a big thing in the teachings of Jesus, that it goes from Israel and then to the Gentiles and then to the whole world. For the dominion belongs to the Lord, and he rules over the nations. All the rich of the earth will feast and worship. All who go down to the dust will kneel before him. Those who cannot keep themselves alive. Posterity will serve him. Future generations will be told about the Lord. They will proclaim his righteousness, declaring to a people yet unborn, he has done it.
That's very precise.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000 years before Christ.
Yeah, and that's what he quotes there.
Yeah.
So he didn't lose his faith. It was like a coded message for this that should know. They know what to do with it.
And that somehow the part of being forsaken is part of his mission, right? It had to be like that. It had to look like that. The Messiah had to die on the cross like a freaking criminal, right? Like that was part of the whole package somehow, like Uriel explained, in order to descend and go all the way here.
Oh, amazing, thank you.
If you like this video and want to learn more about Tantra, about yoga, about psychology, emotional healing, lives of saints and the scriptures,
then hit the bell, like, subscribe, and you'll never miss an upload. Thank you so much.